What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here today with another one, and this will be the first video out of a multi-part series of videos on which I would like to call the Dark Dimension Essentials. So basically, these videos are going to help you guys out with in terms of getting certain characters geared up for Dark Dimension 2 or Dark Dimension 3, and ultimately Dark Dimension 4 as well. And I know for a fact that I've been getting a lot of questions on, hey, what teams did you use? What teams are you currently working on? And better than trying to answer the same question 30, 40 times, I figured a video would do the best part in doing that. And plus, then you guys can also see my rationale and the reasoning for the decisions that I will be going over today. Now, in this first episode, we are actually going to be talking about characters, and specifically we're going to be talking about the top 5 characters you guys can basically invest in for these game modes. Now, having said that, I didn't really talk about Dark Dimension, but with Dark Dimension, that's just getting characters up to 6 yellow stars. And normally, from what I've seen right now, it seems like people are completing Dark Dimension 2 faster than they are beating Dark Dimension 1, just because of the sole factor that you need a 6 yellow star character to get into Dark Dimension 1. So just do keep in mind, these characters can be effective for Dark Dimension 1 as well, but you're better off just going for Dark Dimension 2 and, getting that Ultron unlocked, and then basically running Ultron through the first Dark Dimension and just tearing it up there. So that's really the only thing that I would recommend out of that. But other than that, I mean, these characters will be sufficient for Dark Dimension as well. But, getting 6 yellows is, that's probably going to be the biggest bottleneck for you guys if you guys want to do Dark Dimension 1 before Dark Dimension 2. So just keep that in mind. Anyhow, so we're going to jump into the characters. And I do have to mention that these specific characters that I will be talking about aren't including legendaries. So we're not going to be including legendaries in this because of the fact that not everyone's going to have access to Phoenix or Shuri or Black Bolt. That's not to say these characters wouldn't be effective. It's just I'm assuming the fact that you're not waiting around for these rotations to come back, and then that way, if you're free to play, you do have access to the characters that I will be talking about, and as well as if you do have legendaries like Phoenix or Black Bolt, for sure they can be pieced in and replaced, and you can put them into the lineup as well here. Obviously, legendaries, they have abilities and specials and passives and all that good stuff that are head and shoulders above the normal crowd. But these other 5 characters that I will be talking about are, I would say, they can stand head to toe to toe with these guys, and they will also shine in all the other respective game modes. So having said that, legendary characters, yes, they are definitely powerful enough, and you can definitely throw them in your roster, and I won't be talking about that just due to the fact that not everyone's going to have access to these guys. Alright, so without further ado, top 5 characters, and do keep in mind my selection of these top 5 characters. These ones will also be utilized in Dark Dimension 3 and in Dark Dimension 4. So they won't just be effective in Dark Dimension 1 and 2. They're also going to be transitioning into 3 and 4. Especially if you're free to play and you've got limited, finite resources, this is going to help you guys out lots. And on top of that, my selection came from the fact that these guys also shine in all the other game modes, not just Dark Dimension. So the example here I'll use is, for example, Ant-Man or Wasp. These guys are built for Dark Dimension. However, no one's necessarily going to use Ant-Man or Wasp in Arena, or they're not going to necessarily use them in, for example, War, Defense, or Offense. Yes, they can be effective, but that's not where they respectively shine. And again, we're trying to maximize that efficiency, and we're trying to utilize your mats, because that's going to be the biggest bottleneck, especially for guys that are trying to get into Dark Dimension 3, and for people trying to aim for Dark Dimension 4 right now, which is what I'm currently trying to do. And anyhow, let's jump into the first character. Oh, and I'm sorry. One thing to note is specifically for Dark Dimension 2, I should mention that these 5 characters will be basically your starting point. And for Dark Dimension 2, just noting that they're 16 nodes. There's no trait restrictions like Dark Dimension 3 and 4. And then just be alert for Deadpool and the Miss Marvel nodes, because those are the ones that seem to give a lot of people grief. But with these 5 characters, you should be able to auto you should be able to auto run these guys now that we have new level caps, and then we do have the ISOs that have been implemented in the game now. So it's made things a lot more flexible. But if anything, these 5 characters will basically get through Dark Dimension 2 fairly easy. And as you guys will see in future videos, they'll also have quite a bit of success even in Dark Dimension 3. So definitely for sure, these are characters that I'm going to be focusing on for Dark Dimension 4. So without further ado, let's jump into the first one. Hela is our first character, and right off the bat here, I just got to tell you guys, she is straight up expensive. She needs as much resources as you can possibly think, and of course, she's difficult to farm as well on Villains Chapter 7. Lots of content creators on YouTube have made a lot of minimum power teams, specifically for the Villains Chapter 7 node, utilizing, I believe, the AIM team for that node. So you guys can have a look at those guys, their videos on YouTube. But yeah, it's you want to make sure you can. I think I've seen it done with AIM teams that are under 200k power. So definitely a bit more farming on your guys' end, but for sure it's gonna pretty much help unlock one of the best characters that are in the current meta. Specifically with her, if people have already got her unlocked, she will already be pretty leveled and beefed up because of the fact that she is with the Asgardians, Thor, Loki, Heimdall, and Sif, and most people will have them on more defense as well. So she's gonna be pretty leveled up, and of course, we can't forget the fact that she is also the key to 3 legendaries. You guys will need her to get with the 5 Asgardians. That will unlock Black Bolt, so that's 1 legendary. Black Bolt will ultimately unlock Ebony Maw as well. So again, that's number 2. You need 5 Inhumans, and she's the key piece for unlocking Black Bolt, which will unlock Ebony Maw. And of course, we can't forget the fact that she's also a villain controller, and that's going to help unlock Phoenix as well. And unfortunately, that's probably not the route that most people will go, but we can't deny the fact that she is needed for that unlock. And if you guys are leveling her up for that, you want her as high as you can, because you're going to need a 6-star Hela to get a 6-star Phoenix unlock. Again, let's go over the fact that she adds that debuff spreads combined with characters. For example, if she's allied with Loki, first turn Loki can do the defense down, and then she can just do her ultimate, which basically spreads the defense down to everybody on the map. So again, that's just between Loki, so it can obviously if it was with blinds, or if it was offense down or some other debuffs, it just helps reinforce the fact that she is such a great character, especially in raids and especially in Dark Dimension. And of course, I got to put a star beside Greg, because he is MVP on his own right. The fact that when he gets killed, he's an undead Asgardian summon that basically comes back every time he gets killed, and he heals Asgardians on death. And on top of that, when he dies, he also lowers the speed out of all the enemies on the field. So again, this just reinforces that you need to have her. She is expensive, but her trade-off is definitely there. And some people are always telling me, holy cow, Hela is like 2 characters worth of materials. And I said, yeah, that's because she's worth it. So again, that's my personal insight, and you're not going to regret putting red stars on her, yellow stars, promoting her, and of course T4ing her abilities. She's going to shine in all the respective game modes, and hopefully you guys will share that same mentality with me. Anyhow, we're going to go into the next one. Mr. Sinister. And of course, this guy has to be in the lineup because of the fact that he not only is a low-cost character to get upgraded into tier 13 and 14, but he is also going to be very much leveled already, because a lot of people will be running the Emma Marauders, and they've already got him at tier 12, 13, or even 14. And of course, his specific ability allows him to be very future-proof in the current meta because of the fact that he can clone. Even right now, if we have Dr. Doom, he can basically just clone, and we can have a Dr. Doom on the field. And again, his clone allows that flexibility in a lot of nodes, and as you guys will see in future videos of my gameplay, especially in Dark Dimension 3, you're going to realize how useful that is. And it's very, very possible to one-shot a lot of those early nodes in Dark Dimension 3, And of course Dark Dimension 2 as well, because of the fact that we have Mr. Sinister on the field. He also has great healing, and of course he has he's of course farmable in the War Store, so that makes it accessible to free-to-play players, which is great. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the next one here. And I do also have to mention that most of these infographics are from msf.gg, and these guys do such a great job. So I don't know if you guys go to their website and check out the tiers or the materials or all that great stuff they got there. But those guys, just a shout out to those guys for keeping up the great work. Next character up is Emma Frost, and of course we have to have her in here, especially because we have Mr. Sinister. She's going to already be leveled up again, same with the Emma Marauder Cruise. We had her milestone events, so a lot of characters, a lot of players out there are going to have her already at least 3 or 4 stars, so that's great. And of course, we have to talk about the fact that she is going to be allowing a ton of debuff removal on her own team. But on top of that, she also has buff removal on the adjacent enemy team, because when she throws that blind, she rips everything off. And she is one of the reasons why arena teams have her slotted in. She is probably one of the best characters in the game currently. Low short cooldowns, and of course, she does a ton of massive damage, especially because she's making the DD2 or DD3 or DD4 minions or enemies attacking each other with her special. And of course, she's going to be transitioning into DD4 very well. And as we've already seen from the current guys that are currently going to Dark Dimension 4 and completing it, they've got mixed teams of Emma Frost and Mr. Sinister. So we need to have these guys. Unfortunately, outside of the milestone event, she isn't farmable. So that's probably one of the biggest downsides. So if you guys might have missed that, that'll probably be the biggest downfall with trying to get her. But ultimately, if you've got her with low yellow stars as well, she's going to be effective, and she's going to make any team rock solid with her skill set. Of course, we got to have Minerva, and I do have her here as a pure essential for Dark Dimension 2 and Dark Dimension 3, because of the fact that she is in the, she revives, she does a percentage of damage based on health, and with those guys, the bigger health they have, the more damage they take. And of course, now she is farmable in the War Store, guys, so that is probably one of the biggest things right now. She's going to be competing with Mr. Sinister, but you don't need a lot of yellow stars on her. The first time I did Dark Dimension 2, I had a 3 or 4 star Minerva, and it did not matter because of the fact that it's her skill set you want. She doesn't need a lot of yellows, as long as she's protected and she's doing her thing in the back where she's keeping allies healed up, and then she's reviving when needed. That's what you want. So that's also going to synergize well with Mr. Greg, because of the fact that when he dies, she gets speed, and then of course Greg also brings everybody else down. So again, they work in synergy with each other. And of course, you guys will see this as well as when I run her on the teams. Almost every one-shotting team that I've got, you need to have her in there, because she's your backup insurance policy. And whether you're running Node 1 or whether you're running Node 5 or 7, you need Minerva in there. Excuse me, not 5 or 7. Those are global nodes. 9 or 11 or any of the cosmic nodes, you need her in there because she's your insurance policy. She's going to offer that revive when you need it, and of course she does that percentage based health, like I said already, which is really going to bring everybody down and also heal up your team. So she is just such a great character overall, and of course she shines in all the game modes in the game. Last but not least, we've got Symbiote Spidey, a personal favorite of mine. And unfortunately, he is only available in the milestone orbs. Before he was in the milestones like Emma Frost was, but unfortunately now he's been added into the milestone orbs, and that is unfortunately that is the only way right now he can be farmed, which means it's going to be random luck if you guys can get those orbs. But it is at those increased rates, and hopefully you guys are already have him unlocked. And again, let's talk about his pros. So he's extremely fast, and he'll most likely be one of the first or second character that hits. And of course, he's versatile in raids and in the dark dimensions. slows and stuns. This synergizes well with Hela because of the fact that if he stuns, he also brings on the slow, and then he also increases the length of those debuffs with his special. And his single target attack can basically spread defense down. So timing it just right with Hela can basically bring defense down and slows to everybody across the map if Emma Frost hasn't already slowed them down. And of course, because of the fact that his passive gives him unbelievable healing, if he lands a stun or a special in the right correct adjacent targets or nearby, he can basically go from 0 to 101 hit. And when I was going through Dark Dimension 3, I was pretty much running it with Symbiote, Spidey, and Carnage, and you can pretty much two-person the nodes. It wasn't, an easy process, but for sure it was doable, and you only needed technically, you probably only really needed Symbiote, Spidey, and you can get through the nodes. But respectively now, that's our last and final character, and hopefully gives you guys an understanding of what characters are really good to push for in Dark Dimension 2, 3, or 4. Having said that, now guys, these 5 respective characters are very good. They shine in all their game modes, and I'm very, very on the fence about trying to level up the Pim tech, just because of the fact that they would only be effective for raids in Dark Dimension, and that wasn't something that sat well with me. So, but anyhow, these characters not only are still in the current meta, but they shine in the arena, they shine in Blitz. They're extremely great and effective in Alliance War, and of course they are good in Dark Dimension as well. So that's why I've picked these 5 characters, and really you could probably push these guys straight to 75 or to 80 without any worries. A lot of these key characters are also going to be future proof. Like I said already about Mr. Sinister, he's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. We've got Hela in there as well, just because of the fact that she's got a very unique skill set. She's got Greg there that makes her even better, and I can't see anyone replacing just where she is in the current game. Symbiote Spidey, same thing. Now, do keep in mind, if you're running Dark Dimension 2, you don't need to necessarily have these specific 5 characters. You'll probably be okay with just getting away with Minerva or even Symbiote Spidey. Now that we do have the new level caps and the ISO 8s, but keep in mind, if you do have these 5 characters, they're going to be very effective in Dark Dimension 2 and in Dark Dimension 3. And as you guys will see in future videos, I will demonstrate the gameplay so you guys can have an idea of what you're investing in. And of course, this also gives you a very good start to Dark Dimension 3 as well, because in this specific lineup, we've got 2 global characters, 2 cosmic characters, and then 1 city character. So it helps you guys out, because you need 5 characters that are at least tier 14 to get into Dark Dimension 3. And the first 4 nodes will require any character without any trait specifics, but you can get into node 5 just with Mr. Sinister and Emma Frost, and by then, hopefully by the time you get to node 5, you're going to be working on some other characters as well that will go with the global nodes, and then you'll already have 2 ready to go. Same with Cosmic. You'll also have Minerva and Hela in there as well, and then you can kind of work on a 3rd and a 4th. And hopefully, by the time you guys get to the last set of nodes with the city nodes, Symbiote Spidey will be there. And like I said already, he's still pretty effective if he's by himself. But I'm hoping by then you guys will have other ones unlocked, like Carnage, Scream, Venom, any of this, and any of those Spider-Verse symbiote characters. That's going to help them out. Or if you have other characters that are yellow 7 reds, and you've got like a really beefed out Punisher or a mercenary lieutenant or something like that, or or Vulture. I had Vulture. So anyhow, hopefully this helps you guys out, and like I said, this will be the first video out of a multi-part series. So stay tuned, guys, and we will see you guys on the next episode.